Okay, welcome everyone. Hello, hello. It is Sunday, and I hope that you guys are doing well. I am Phil, of course, and welcome to today's gameplay stream. How are you guys doing? I hope you're doing well. Today is Sunday, August 26, 2018. We're winding down, guys, the last week of August. All right, should be a fun one with a wide variety of stuff that we'll be tackling this week on streams. This is the final... Well, I guess you can say this is the first stream of the week. Keep in mind, those Sundays, I only do one gameplay stream because I've got, man, do I have a lot of shit I got to do tonight. I'll talk about that in just a moment. But all week then, we'll have double gameplay streams for you coming up. A mix of new releases, ongoing playthroughs, fun stuff that you guys have wanted to see for a while. So it should be a great week in general. I hope you guys are pumped. All right, so first of all, I want to say something. Special shout out to Hermano Carl. As you guys can now see on pre-streams, pretty much almost all the pre-stream artwork we're using is from a gentleman named Hermano Carl, who is a very talented artist. He's been doing all these pencil drawings, right, for the pre-streams. In particular, these new ones he's been doing for Dark Souls 3. He has 4 of them now for Dark Souls 3. I mean, holy crap, are they awesome, right? They look really good. And... you know, pretty awesome that he goes out of his way to hand draw all this artwork. A lot of these were in the JoJo's Bizarre Adventure style. Now he switched over to this, like, gothic horror style. And I just want to say, thank you guys very much for all of your support. You know, it's really awesome that this guy is going out of his way to make all this. Look at this one. Holy crap, this is Wolner, right? Who I'm going to fight today. I'm going to be fighting Wolner today. Plus a wheel skeleton. This is so cool how he does all this custom artwork for what I'm doing. Much appreciated, and you know, I'm curious to see if he'll actually be doing stuff for all the major playthroughs, like Spider-Man and everything coming up. I wonder if he'll do like custom artwork for all these upcoming major games. That'd be pretty sweet, right? So just wanted to give a shout out there. Also, shout out to Sherryukin, who just said in the stream chat, good games to our Third Strike matches the other day. It just sucks that the connections weren't as good as our first set. I believe Sherryukin is the person with the really good Dudley. And I agree with you, sir. We had a good set of matches last week that actually were much better, in my opinion. When we went to play last time, which was what, Thursday night, the connection was not as good at all. I agree. Like, for some reason, it's so weird because, you know, we're using the same friggin' internet. It's not like, oh, yeah, well, we changed our internet since the week before. Yeah, right. But that was, you know, you're great, Dudley. You mix me up a lot with some of the things that you do, and I like that. It just sucks that you're right. We can't really react as we want to in our matches that last set. Hopefully we get better sets in the future. Okay, so anyway, guys, yeah, I think awesome artwork recently. King Grub actually just went as far to say the best custom art you featured. I'll say when it comes to skill level, maybe, but I also had liked a lot of the other artwork that other people, such as Dark Maggot. Dark Maggot used to do some really good hand-drawn stuff for the streams. That was a long time ago. You know, that was years ago, like Alien Isolation time frame, but... yeah, over the years, a lot of people have done some really awesome work for me, and I want to say thank you to anyone, you know, who utilizes their skill and makes the streams better. I think people really appreciate this. Look at this one. Me fighting Champion Gundyr, which is coming up. You know, that'll be coming up relatively soon. I'm trying to think. I got to kill Wolnir, then we go down to the underground area, and we got to eventually get to the Giant and fight him with the gimmick fight, right? And then after the Giant, I'm trying to remember what happens after that, but eventually we got to go fight the Dancer, and that leads us into the final area of the game, right? So, actually, I think we go to Anne Orlando first before that, now that I'm thinking about it. So, alright, so anyway, thank you guys for your support. Pretty awesome, right? Alright, now, let's talk. Schedule-wise, what's going on? Well, today, guys, we are returning to Dark Souls 3, and you might say, well, why are you returning so quickly? You played it on Friday, right? It's because people voted. You know, we had a poll on Twitter over the weekend, and the polling was close. It was within, I think, 6%. But Dark Souls 3 did narrowly win. And the good news is that it's not a big deal because tomorrow I'm going to be playing Shenmue anyway. You know, whatever didn't win the poll, I'm going to be playing on Monday anyway. So for those of you who are really dying for more Shenmue, it's not like you have to wait forever. It will continue tomorrow, okay? So today... it's going to be Dark Souls 3, and I'm going to be honest with you guys, I'm actually excited that I get to play it again, because I've been craving another session, because at the end of the last session, I got the Fume Knight Greatsword, right? And I started using it very limited amount of time, I want to upgrade the damn thing. And I want to make it, like, really overpowered if I can. And I haven't upgraded any weapons in the game so far. So I'm hoping if I upgrade this sword, it's going to be sick. Okay, so I am going to upgrade that first thing today on stream. See how well, or how great we can make that sword. And then we're going to go continue on. We got to go fight Wolner now. And then go past him. Like I said, I remember that goes into the underground area. You got the flying gargoyle enemies. And then you go inside where you got those enemies that I believe they can make your energy bar, like, be halved and stuff. And then we got to get to the giant. So we've got a lot to do today. Once we get past the giant, I don't remember if then you go to Anne Orlando again or not to fight Aldrich. I can't remember the order. I remember it's a pain in the dick once you get there, though. It's like a real pain in the ass. And at some point, depending on how stuff goes, guys, you know, I may do the DLCs. I know I didn't unlock the Ring City DLC yet, but I did unlock the first one, the Ashes of Astoria or Artorias or whatever the fuck it is. So I may do that as well. I don't know. We'll see. Now that I have this crazy sword, maybe now's a good time to do it. Ashes of Ariandel. Thank you, Eternal Napalm. I don't know. I don't remember the names of these things. So maybe I'll go and do that soon. I don't know. Maybe. We'll see. Okay. We'll see. You know, people are still liking what I'm doing here. If people get bored of the main run of just the vanilla game and they want to see me do that, maybe I'll do it. It all depends because basically at this point, I've got between now and the next really major release coming out is going to be September 7th, which is Spider-Man. And once that comes out, that's going to be my main focus for a while until I wrap that game up. And then after then, you know, you've got shit, Tomb Raider and other stuff. So, you know, I'll be focused on some new releases when September hits. So my goal is to try to get Dark Souls 3 finished by, say, maybe the 7th of September, you know. I guess we'll see how it goes. But the thing is, if I commit to doing these DLCs and now we're adding another 12 hours to the playthrough or something, you know, how am I going to finish it in time? I don't know. Keep in mind this week I am balancing it with other stuff as we're going to talk about in just a moment here, okay? So we'll see. But today, excited to try the Fume Greatsword. Let's see how it goes. Excuse me. Okay, tonight, no second stream, guys. Why? Few reasons. Number one, end of the month means I got a ton of bills I got to pay. They always stack up at the end of the month. I got to sit here for about like 2 hours paying all my bills and shit. But in addition to that, the big thing I'm doing tonight is I am going to be going to the forums and looking at all of the games for the next Patron's Choice playthrough that have been nominated, as well as the moments, the top moments of my 10 years being a content creator on the internet, and see what's been nominated. And I now need to make polls, okay, to determine what people will be voting on for the next couple of weeks. It's going to be like 2 weeks of voting, where the patrons will be voting on what they want to see in these events. So there's 2 special events that are going to happen in September. The first is, at some point in September, I'm going to be doing a 10-year anniversary retrospective event stream, where I'm going to be going back and watching, with you guys live, some of my biggest moments as a content creator on the internet. It could be moments from a video game playthrough. It could be moments from a vlog or a review. It could be moments from a special show like Project 7. I don't even know what people have nominated. I haven't even looked yet, okay? So I'm going to be doing that tonight, looking and creating a poll based off of that. And this special event will be me watching back my own stuff and reacting, and you guys will be reacting in the stream chat as well. It's going to be a fun event to kind of reminisce a little bit for one day on my 10 years as a content creator, right? Pretty sweet. The other event is a Patron's Choice playthrough. Now, recently, some of the Patron's Choice playthroughs I've done have been incredibly successful, including games such as Half-Life 2, The Simpsons Hit and Run, okay, and Jak 3. All those events actually spawned from the last Patron's Choice poll, where I basically played the games that were in 1, 2, and 3 in that poll, okay? So we'll see what happens. I'm not promising that this time. I probably will only play the game that wins the poll. But I got to set up the next Patron's Choice poll as well, and we'll see what games are nominated and what people start voting on, okay? So, pretty cool, right? We'll see what happens with those polls. Those are getting set up tonight, so no second stream tonight. I'll be busy, but I'll be back tomorrow with double streams. Tomorrow, Monday, the 27th of August, I'll be doing Shenmue on my first stream, 4 hours of Shenmue progress, and people are saying I'm actually almost done with Disc 2 of the game. However, Disc 3 of the game is the longest disc, and it could take upwards of 6 to 8 hours to beat. So maybe 3 more major sessions of Shenmue, and then the game will be wrapped up. Okay, so we'll be past the halfway point as of tomorrow. Tomorrow night, Monday night, I'm going to be playing more Street Fighter V, and I'm going to be trying out characters other than Ryu, because all I've done in my first 2 sessions here back this last week was play Ryu. I think I've pretty much done the extent of what I can do with Ryu, because he is a very limited character. And so I am going to be looking into another character on Monday. Who? I don't know. I'm leaning towards Akuma, because everyone's been recommending Akuma. But I have a lot of DLC characters, like Abigail apparently is a really incredibly good grappler, and I've never seen him or used him. So I'm curious to see how he operates, and the like. You know, we'll see how stuff goes in regards to that moving forward, okay? But it should be a fun session regardless. Tomorrow night, Street Fighter V returning, okay? Then on Tuesday, we got a new game release, Fire Pro Wrestling World. A new Fire Pro Wrestling game. For those who don't know what this is, it's basically, in Japan, they have a long-running wrestling game series called Fire Pro Wrestling. Much like how in the United States we have the WWE games, they have their own called Fire Pro Wrestling. Now, I don't know much about it. All I know is that it's like really huge in Japan, and worldwide people really love this game because they can do a lot of simulations and the like. So I don't know how it's going to go. We'll find out. I'm going to get it, and we're going to start playing it Tuesday. Apparently it has a campaign, plus it has lots of other content as well. So it could be quite an interesting experience this week playing Fire Pro Wrestling World. That's going to start Tuesday. Tuesday night, I'm not sure what I'm doing yet. Maybe I'll do some throwback Street Fighter, classic Street Fighter again. Or, more than likely, what I may do is the conclusion of Scarface, try to finish it. If you guys aren't aware, I now played Scarface twice this last week, and now I'm at the point where all I need to do is my final distribution run or runs, like 1 to 2 more, to get enough money to buy exotics to finish the game and unlock the final mission. So one more major session, I may actually be good enough to finish the game. We'll find out. That's probably going to be Tuesday night, I'm thinking, okay? So then for the rest of the week, all right, it's going to be me balancing Dark Souls 3, Shenmue, and Fire Pro Wrestling World, probably with a little bit of Street Fighter mixed in there, okay? So a good variety this week coming up. There's one game coming out this week I'm not playing, Yakuza Kiwami 2. At this point, I just don't think that it makes any sense to do it. I never finished Yakuza Kiwami 1. I already played a Yakuza game recently, and I really am already in the midst of Shenmue, which is the predecessor to Yakuza. So I don't really think I need to be playing another Yakuza game, okay? Maybe in the future, but at this point, I'm not too interested in playing it, all right? Okay. So that's it, guys. That's the schedule for the week. I hope you guys are excited. I am about to do a plug segment, and I got a few things that I want to talk about. First of all, thanks to all of you who've been very supportive this month. I'm going to be very honest with you guys. This month on Twitch was good, but it was nowhere near as good as last month until this anonymous guy who no one's ever heard of, Tutankhamun, came in this week and basically, you know, cheered a ridiculous amount. I mean, it was insane how much he cheered, and basically what that did is that boosted me up this month. If that is legit and it is allowed to stand, which, by the way, right now I've heard nothing to the contrary. I've heard nothing from Twitch or anything that will not stand. Then this month will be obviously a really good streaming month, but the reason will be basically because of this guy coming in, you know. You guys have been very supportive. You know, cheers, subs, tips, everything's been great on streams. And I am hoping to grow that within the next few months on Twitch here, because we'll have all the new releases coming out, right? So I'm hoping that I'm going to get natural growth from the new releases coming in, and people will come check out my streams who maybe normally wouldn't. I wholeheartedly will admit the last 2 months have been very friggin' slow. And it's sad because the few times that there was an opportunity to get, like, attention, like, for example, We Happy Few. The first 2 times I streamed it was great, but the game stinks. And because of that, all that hype died out and it basically became a dud, you know? And that's the risk you take when you're a variety streamer like me, is if every new game you play, if it's a great new game, you hook people, they come and hang out with you. But if it's a stinky game and you commit to playing it, then people say, well, I'm not going to be here, right? That's kind of what's happened, right? So, the truth is, August was an okay month so far for streaming. Now, we're not done yet. I mean, it's the 26th. We still got, what, 5 days left? Actually, 6 days left. 6 days left of streaming. But, in general, no, August was not as good as July was going to be, or July had been. Which does make me a little nervous, but at the same time, August was a slower month for gaming anyway. So it's kind of like a mixed bag. Like, once September, October hit, and we've got ridiculous amount of new releases, maybe that'll get new people in, maybe that'll get more support. I don't know. In general, though, you know, it was that generous guy, whoever he was, that kind of boosted this month up to a good level. So that's good, but, you know, it makes me nervous. Now, in regards to YouTube, YouTube is good and bad, and here's why. It's a kind of a mixed bag. The good thing on YouTube is, number one, my subscriptions are going up really big time. Like, the first time ever in 5 years, I've seen consistent subscription growth. The reason being, my videos are longer now. I'm only uploading a small handful of videos to the channel a day. Today in particular, I'll probably upload like 4 videos to the channel, right? So because of that, people are subscribing and saying, wow, Phil's not flooding our inboxes anymore. This is great. Let's go sub to his channel for the first time ever. Because maybe every once in a while I used to watch his stuff, but now I can actually sub and not have my inbox flooded, right? That's a good thing. In addition, engagement on the channel is way up. I'm not even exaggerating. Almost doubled in the last 2 weeks since I started uploading the longer videos to DSPGaming. Engagement has almost doubled. People are watching my videos for twice as long as they used to. That's a great statistic, because that actually engagement is what people love when it comes to stats on YouTube. The longer engagement you have, the better ranking your channel is on YouTube, and the more opportunity you'll have for things like better advertisements and the like running on your videos. However, the trade-off is twofold. Number one, my views are way down, but that's to be expected. I'm uploading less videos, I'm going to get less views, right? Good thing views really don't amount to much. It's just true. They just don't. But number two, my ad revenue is crappy. It's not as bad as it was when I had no ads, obviously, but it's nowhere near what it used to be. In fact, I'd still tell you guys, you know, at least from what I saw the other day, I didn't pull it this morning, probably about less than half of what I was making, just under less than half of what I was making when I was with Curse. And that's terrible, because I'm not doing anything differently, right? I'm not putting out any different content. I haven't stopped putting out content. It's the same content, and people like it, but ad revenue is way down for whatever reason, just because I'm not with Curse anymore, and it sucks. You know, if I could be with the network, I would be. I can't be. And therefore, I just got to put up with this. This is the future. As YouTube is kind of just no way that anyone can make a living doing it anymore. Which is a good thing that I'm not trying to make a living just on YouTube, but it was a big, important part of my income, right? So, right now, you know, the future is uncertain, right? I don't even know what else to say. You know, I'm going to move forward positively. I want to say thank you to the people who've been very supportive and donated recently. I got a PS4 Pro donated, and then I was given the funds to buy a new TV this past week, and all that was made possible by, you know, obviously very supportive viewers and fans, and it's really awesome that people go out of their way to support, you know, me, 10-year content creator, who's been around the block but also has been through the ringer. It's really nice that people appreciate what I do and like what I do to the point where they do step up and support, and that's why I'm still here, guys. Really, it's your help and your support that's allowed me to continue doing what I do. All right, and I thank you so much wholeheartedly for that. So that being said, thank you guys very much for everything. Okay, if you enjoy my videos on YouTube, if you enjoy these daily live interactive streams, you want to see these continue, you want to see me be able to do this full-time moving forward, cover all the big new releases, and keep stuff going. There are many ways that you can support. I'm not going to go through super detailed explanations of all of them, all right? One way is to buy something from my Teespring store, which you can see plugs for right here on the pre-stream entirely. You know, all new merchandise over there, new t-shirts, 10th anniversary line of product. That helps out. In particular, on streams, if you want to get an interaction with me, you could cheer, sub, or tip, and I'll give you a shout-out during the stream, as long as you're being positive and you're not trying to derail the stream with negative detractor stuff. You know, we've got rules publicly listed. Please give them a look, all right? If you either cheer 50 bits in one cheer, tip me $5 in one tip, or you click on a share button after you sub to the channel, I'll give an on-screen animation for you during the stream, so even more interactivity, which is pretty cool, right? And so subbing to the channel helps you guys, because you're going to get access to all of my emotes. You get a cool chat sub badge. If you are a paid sub, meaning you're not using Amazon Prime, but if you pay for the sub, you don't have to watch ads when I run ad breaks. There's a lot of benefits, all right, to supporting. But in general, guys, right now, and this is me being very, very upfront and honest with you guys, I'm in a tough situation, because coming forward in September here, early September, I'm going to have all my bills come due. And it's the first month where my ad revenue on YouTube was non-existent. They remember they took away my ads for 3 weeks. So normally I would get a payment around the 10th of the month that would be, you know, a big amount of money and it would help me pay my bills. This month I'm going to get a tiny payment from whatever was remaining from when I was with Curse, and that's it. Because YouTube screwed me over. It was not even YouTube, I say Google fucked me over with AdSense and froze my AdSense for 3 weeks, which I didn't do anything wrong, which is why they eventually unfroze it, because it was their error, not mine. And it sucks because that's 3 weeks of money that I needed to pay bills. I'm not going to get it. So if you really want to help out, the best way you can help out on streams in the next week to 2 weeks, 3 weeks, is until I get paid from Twitch for my July performance, which will be about the middle of September, is to either pledge to my Patreon. You got 6 days left to do that and get in on this month. All right. You can check that out at patreon.com/darksidephil. Anything you pledge to my Patreon, you earn a cool perk. For example, for pledging $5 right now, by the end of this month, you'll be able to nominate and vote on indie games for an upcoming indie games marathon. That's a cool event coming up probably in October, all right? So that's one example. There's many other perks that you can get for pledging to my Patreon. Please give it a look and consider contributing if you love the content. That's something that I'm going to get the funds right away. I'll be able to help out with these bills, all right? The other, and this one is definitely more interactive if you're here live on the stream, would be to tip me. If you look below the stream, there's a button that says Tip Jar. If you click on that, it takes you to my PayPal tips page. Or if you just type !tip into the stream chat, it'll bring up a command, right, with a link. You click on that link, that'll take you to the PayPal tips page as well. If you leave the tip via either one, you can leave your name and a message to get a shout out, or you could be anonymous. Those funds I get right away, and that's going to help me in the short term with this bill situation I'm going to have until I get through early September, okay? So either way, either Patreon or tipping me are the two major ways that you can help out the most. I still appreciate everything else. You want to buy something from Teespring, you want to cheer or sub, those things are still, helping me, but understand that, this is the way you can help the most is through tipping or Patreon, okay? As you can see, I got a stream stats leaderboard at the top of the screen there. I will be updating that periodically during today's stream, so if you either cheer or tip, and you're the top cheerer or tipper, I'll put you up there on the leaderboard. Also, we got a running tally of subs. All right, and I'll be updating that during the day as well. However, just to forewarn you guys, I know this is going to happen. Subs are going to dip dramatically soon. Here's why. At the end of July, we had a couple people who were very generous donating or gifting subs because they wanted to see a new sub goal happen. So they gifted a ton of subs, and it ended up that it becoming a full playthrough of Night in the Woods, which I already did. But they wanted that to happen, so they gifted a ton of subs to make it happen, and I know those subs are not going to auto-renew, so we're talking a good 30, 40 subs probably. We're going to dip very soon, and it's no one's fault. No one can put control over it, right? It's just going to happen. It's an inevitability that's coming up. So, just to forewarn you guys, but there will be new sub goals in September, all related to Halloween, which is going to be pretty sweet. So I think it'll motivate people to subscribe again if they want to see all these Halloween events happen, okay? Okay. I think that's really it. I think I've covered everything. I think now let's do some shout outs for people who have contributed, okay? Alright, so first of all, Hardy Buck did 2 cheers this morning before I was even live, so let me go ahead and read his cheers and respond. He says, first of all, with this first cheer, he says, now with your newly bought 4K TV and a PS4 Pro, are you going to get anything else to help improve the business? I can't. I don't have any money for anything to improve the business. I mean, some people have said, well, Phil, are you now going to be playing games in 4K and HDR? I can't. My HDMI splitter, as well as my capture device, don't support HDR or 4K video. So if I did it, I couldn't capture and broadcast, okay? Even if I just wanted to do 1080p with HDR, they don't support it. I would have to completely upgrade both probably my cables, I would think. I don't know if my HDMI cables are even compliant with it. But that, plus the HDMI splitter, plus my whole capture device, I would have to get rid of and get a new one that supports these formats. I don't have money for this. And quite frankly, I don't have time for it. I got to work, right? I don't have time to be messing with all new equipment right now, especially heading into the hardcore gaming season. I'm going to be super busy. So that being said, no, I'm not going to be upgrading anything. I know it's disappointing. Some people are like, man, you got a TV. He's not going to play in 4K or HDR. No. For me, I'm just going to be playing 1080p. And what the major benefits for me are a few. Number one, we're not going to have any issues with the stupid audio bug that I was having with my old PS4. If you guys remember, the optical audio output stopped working frequently to the point where I was getting up repeatedly during streams to have to unplug, replug, restart my fucking PS4 and headphones to get them to work, okay? It's a pain in the dick. It was because my old PS4 just was dying, and now that's not going to happen. Number two, my old PS4 had an ongoing bug where it would try to eject discs that were inside of it. I won't have that anymore with my PS4 Pro, so that's a good thing. Number 3, unlimited storage space. I won't have to quickly delete games anymore from my PS4 because I have double the storage space. I should be good in that regard, okay? Number 4, the PS4 Pro has things called boost mode, and there's another thing too. There's 2 different modes that I've enabled. So when I'm playing games that maybe aren't brand new games, or maybe games that are slightly older, it's going to make them look better. For example, Dark Souls 3 is running between 40 to 60 frames per second as I play it, which is great for me. It allows me to react a little bit faster and do a little bit better than I did, especially my first run when I played it on Xbox One. The game ran at under 30 frames per second. So now the game's running much smoother, and it's going to lend to it's going to turn into a better playthrough because of that, okay? So there are many benefits that I'm getting out of having the new PS4 and the TV. The TV in particular, 2 benefits that I've seen. Number 1, the TV is much smaller than the other one I had. The other one was like 60 inches, I think, or 55. This one's 49. It fits the office a lot better. It actually, like, for my eyes, I'm looking at a smaller area. I can see more on the screen at once. I think it's going to help me to be a little bit more observant when I play games. It's infamously been something people have said, when Phil plays stuff, he misses stuff, right? I think it's because I had such a giant fucking TV in a small office. You know, it's hard for me to even keep track of everything going on screen. Now this TV is much smaller. I think it's going to be better overall. I think that the other TV was too big for this office, okay? Number 2, it's just a newer TV. So I guarantee you the response time is better. I guarantee you that, I'm not going to have issues like dead pixels right away. Like, I had a bunch of dead pixels on that old TV that were starting to distract me. So the benefits of the PS4 Pro and the TV already are being seen, and I'm already enjoying it, right? But that being said, no, I cannot fully do everything. Everyone, oh, well, you got the equipment, now you just got to go full 4K, you got to go HDR. I can't do it, You would be talking about completely redoing my entire setup here with brand new capture equipment and everything, and I'm just not going to do that right now. Everything's good right now for the hardcore gaming season. Let's just let everything be. We'll have 1080p video and great, good frame rate, steady frame rate for most games. I'm sure some games are going to run better, some games will run worse, but it should be a good hardcore gaming season here. And then if things ever turn around financially for me, then maybe I would look to upgrade my equipment, but right now I can't do it, okay? All the hilariousness of idiots. Phil, did you know there's evidence on the internet that you purchased your TV? What? Well, first of all, there's no evidence of anything because you can't prove that because you can't access my fucking Amazon purchase records, right? It's impossible. That's number 1. But number 2, I said outright that I bought the TV, that someone had sent me the funds to buy the TV. That, we had actually talked about it ahead of time. They said, well, you got a PS4 Pro. Now, what kind of TV are you looking at? And I told them, well, I don't want anything too expensive. I want a smaller one. I don't need one with the big bells and whistles. And we talked about it to a $300 price point. I could afford that, so they sent me the money, and I bought the TV with the money, right? But people make shit up all the time. They'll make say, oh, Phil spells his own money he spent. And, idiots who'll say that, oh, people have sent you money via tips before and said this is for a PS4 Pro. Sorry, if someone sends me a random tip of like $5, $10, says, oh, this is for a PS4 Pro, that's not how it works. If you actually definitively are going to send me something for an intended reason, you have to talk with me about it first, and I'll agree to it, right? Not, oh, I'm just going to throw random money at Phil, and he better do what I tell him to do with it, or else, I'm going to be angry. That's not how life works. In particular, as I've told you guys, financially things are very tight. Any tips or whatever that are given to me on stream go straight to my bills. If there's a situation like there was with this TV where someone's upfronting the cost of the whole TV and says just put it towards that, then I'll do it. But not, oh, I'm going to throw you $5. Start saving in a cookie jar to your side for a PS4 Pro. Like, it's stupid. It doesn't even make any sense. Okay? So, I think that's really it in regards to that subject, and we can move on. Okay? All right. Hardy Buckshot again. He says, pre-orders for Battlefield 5 have been extremely weak compared to Call of Duty. Okay, hold on. Oh, my God. My laptop just is fucking... Another thing that's way outdated, my fucking laptop. I'm looking at stream chat and it froze. I go to click on it to make it work again, and it fucking highlights the whole screen and starts dragging the stream chat across my screen. Piece of crap. Alright, anyway. Let's try this again. Pre-orders for Battlefield 5 have been extremely weak compared to Call of Duty and Red Dead 2 this year. Are you getting the game? Yeah, I'm going to get it. regardless of the fact that it seems like it's not a very popular game this year, I'm still going to get it. You know, the Battlefield games are good. It's not like anyone could say, oh, the Battlefield games are terrible. They're not. But I think really, sadly, what happened is when you have a negative backlash against the consumer, oh, you're going to get negative press and you're going to get a negative consequence. And what happened this year is that it's supposed to be a historical game based in, you know, historical battles of the past, not a modern game anymore. It's, again, still in the past, which is weird because Battlefield 1 was in the past too, so I don't know why they're doing another one like that. But anyway, yeah, so it's a game set in the past, and they say, oh, we're going to have a campaign where there's a female lead. And everyone basically said, well, wait a minute, it doesn't make sense. In military campaigns of the past, women weren't even allowed to participate. How could you have a female lead in this game? Oh, well, too bad. We write the games. This is the modern era of social justice, so you better get used to women being in video games. And everyone kind of responded like, what? Like, the problem wasn't that there's a woman in a video game. It's that you're claiming to have a historically accurate video game set in a time period, a historical time period, and you're basically saying, well, throw away actual history. We're going to rewrite it for the purposes of social justice. It's stupid as shit. And the really, like, kind of, what's the word? Confrontational approach that the game developers gave to people's criticism, basically, I think, turned a lot of people off and said, well, fuck you then. If you're going to be like that, you know, we're giving you a legit criticism of why this game is kind of silly. And, you know, we would like maybe more historical accuracy in a game that's about historical battles. And you're going to yell at us. Well, then we just won't fucking get your game, right? And I think that's what happened, is a lot of people just got turned off and said, well, fuck it. Plus, let's face it, you know, we just had 2 years where all the first-person shooters were old school. We had Battlefield 1, and then we had Call of Duty World War II. Having another one 3 years in a fucking row is probably not a great idea. It's just more of the same at this point. And so I can understand why people would be turned off about this new Battlefield game. Now, for me, I really don't care. I'm going to play it anyway. I'm going to, you know, enjoy it for what it is. I have fun usually with these first-person shooters near the end of the year, and I think it's going to be a fun game regardless, but yeah, I think they're pretty screwed. I think what they did is they shot themselves in the foot with that really negative response to what people criticized about their game. And I really don't even know what else to say. Like, they really screwed themselves. You know what I mean? In that regard. Now, again, I'm not saying that the game's bad, and I'm not saying anything about the game does. I like Battlefield games, but this is 2018, right? It's a very different era where things that happen on social media and things that happen on the internet are very prevalent and spread like wildfire. You gotta be super careful what you say and do, because it will ruin your reputation and it will get a bad association depending on what happens. And in this case, I think this may be a situation where it's not even the game, it's the attitude of the game developers that have screwed them over at this point. Okay? I don't even know what else to say. So there you go. I'm gonna get my air conditioner turning on. It's actually been a lot cooler here in Washington recently, but it's still very, very stuffy in the office. To the point where, like, I'm sitting here and I'm like, ugh, like, I need fresh air. I hope the air conditioner will turn back on and blow some in. So what I'm hoping is it stays cool, and then within the next month I can get rid of the air conditioner. Then you guys won't hear this ambient noise in the background anymore. I can turn it off and get it out of the window. And then I'll know much more about, much more about, what am I talking about? Much more fresh air. I'll have the window open instead. Get a nice fresh breeze coming in here, and it's nice. The fall here in Washington is a very rainy fall, where we get cooler temperatures and a lot of drizzle and rain, but it's very refreshing. And having the fresh air come in is actually a boon. Like, I'll be honest, you know, since April, I've had this air conditioner in the window because it got so hot, and it sucks. For like 4 or 5 months, I get this fucking stuck. I just want fresh air, man. It feels so confined and stuffy in this office. But then, the end of the year, when all the new releases come out, I get to take this out of the window and refresh myself and relax. It's a lot better. So, all right. So now let's move on to other people who, have contributed here on the stream today. We've got Knows Nobody, who did a 100-bit cheer to become the cheerleader for so far for today. And he says, are you disappointed that Spyro Remake Trilogy got pushed to November? I have mixed feelings about it, alright? Here are my feelings. First of all, I was very excited for the Spyro Trilogy because last year, I played Spyro 1, and this was the original version of the game on PS1. I had never played a Spyro game before, nor had I even seen it, so I didn't even know what to expect. I liked Spyro 1 so much, I did a completionist run of the game, okay? And I almost never do that when I play games. I did a 100% run getting every single collectible, okay? And that being said, it was quite fun. I was like, man, eventually I'd like to play the rest of the games. And then they announced the Spyro Remastered Trilogy. So I was like, man, I am pumped. And when originally it was supposed to come out in late September, it was perfect. There was no other games coming out around that time. I would have had a perfect opportunity to sit there and focus on Spyro 2 and maybe even Spyro 3. It was like the perfect timing. And then they say, well, it's not ready yet, so we're going to delay it to November. All right. First of all, that's good that they're doing that. If they really feel the game isn't finished or has issues, I'd rather have them delay it and have a good game released than come out with a ton of glitches and bugs and issues. As you guys know, we've had many games. I mean, We Happy Few. What the fuck? The game comes out and doesn't even run at 30 frames. It's like choppy as fuck most of the game. That's a horrible horror story situation. A game that had 3+ years in development, tons of hard effort put in by a small time dev team, but the game was released before it was ready, and now the game's gonna flop, right? Like, no one's gonna buy that piece of shit. We don't want that to happen with the Spyro trilogy. So if they feel it's not there yet, great. And the other thing is they're only delaying it about 2 months. So obviously it's not that they feel there's a huge groundbreaking change they need to make here to make it work. It's just maybe a little bit more time, a little bit more tweaking, and they think that they can get it good. That's good. That's good to me. But at the same time, they've delayed the game to the fucking week. When do you hear this? The same week as the following game releases. Hitman 2, Fallout 76, and I think Starhawk, which is the Switch exclusive game. 3 other releases. 2 of them are giant releases that many people will be playing. And I hate to say it, but if you have a week in the middle of the hardcore gaming season and you have limited funds and there's major games, all those games coming out, are you going to buy a Spyro throwback collection? Or are you going to buy the major releases that are new games? You see what I mean? And I get the feeling most people are going to say, oh, just buy the new game. Oh, well, Spyro came out at a bad time. And Spyro Collection is going to fall by the wayside for a lot of people. Just because of its timing of release. I mean, if they had delayed it a week, if they had put it into December, I think it actually might have sold better. But they're going to release it at a time when no one's going to care because everyone's going to be into other new games. I quite frankly don't even know what they're thinking. It's a really dumb decision. And I'm worried because, you know, I really like the Spyro games. And I would like to see a reinvigoration, just like how Crash Bandicoot did so well with its remastered trilogy, that there's now rumblings that Naughty Dog is actually making a brand new fucking Crash game, which would be amazing. Imagine a new Spyro game. We're reinvigorating these old series that used to be popular, right? I would love to see that, but I don't know how this collection's gonna do now, you know? I guess we'll find out, you know? I mean, the only time will tell. I know that I'm getting it, and I'll be playing it. It was gonna be pretty hard to play it during that same week as Hitman and Fallout. I'll be playing those games as the main games, and Spyro maybe a little bit, I don't know, but I know I'm not going to have much attention to dedicate to Spyro right away. It might have to take a while. So, I don't know. I don't know. I guess we'll find out. But, yeah, it is disheartening. For someone who's a fan of Spyro after playing it last year, and I was really looking forward to this collection, and the timing was perfect, it sucks that they couldn't get it right in time for their first launch date. And I hope that this doesn't negatively affect the game in a big way, okay? Okay, Internal Napalm Cheer. This says, Biomutant looks awesome. It's a very provocative open-world RPG that apparently has 500,000 weapon combinations, including melee and guns. It's coming out next summer. Definitely check it out. Sounds good. Everything people told me about this game sounds great. And if it comes out in the summer, that's, I mean, holy shit, are they smart? They're finally going to capitalize on the fact that almost no new games come out in the summer. In particular, 2019 is stacking up to be an amazing gaming year. The first 3 months alone, January, February, and March, are going to have some huge blockbuster releases that are looking really good. And I think that that's going to take us into a really great start to the year. And then we got to see, obviously, how the rest of the year pans out. But, hey, so games in the summer, I've been saying forever, that's a big gap that game developers are missing. Releasing good games in the summer, they can be making a ton of money. So, good move. If that doesn't need to come out in the summer, I think they're going to do well. Nassif cheered. 25 bits. Thank you, Nassif. BM Tell has subscribed at Tier 3 for the ninth month in a row. First of all, BMTel, thank you for the subscription, 9 months of support, but in particular, thank you for the tier 3 support. That's amazing. You know, this is the highest level of sub, and I get a lot more out of that than a regular sub. And, you know, it actually helps us with sub points and everything here on the channel. So thank you very much, BMTel. Knows Nobody did 100-bit cheer. And he says, let's see here. Are you okay with Black Ops 4 having no single-player campaign? It's like I said, I'm going to give you the same response I've given all along, okay? It's not about Black Ops 4 having or not having a campaign. It's about Black Ops 4 having enough content to warrant a full $60 price tag, the cost of a full game, right? If Black Ops 4 comes out and has limited maps, limited multiplayer modes, and doesn't feel like it's worth a full $60 price tag, then no, it's not good that the game didn't have a single-player campaign. Now, let's be honest here. A lot of people don't buy Call of Duty for the campaign. In fact, a lot of people have outright admit, I just buy it for the multiplayer or the zombies or whatever. I don't really care about the campaign. It's not a concern of mine. And so when these game companies are putting in tons of money, you know, Treyarch, Infinity Ward, Sledgehammer, when they're putting in a ridiculous amount of time and money to develop a single-player campaign that most people who buy their game are never going to play, I'm sure that could not only be disheartening, but they're like, what are we doing? Shouldn't we just be focusing on the longevity of the multiplayer of our game rather than worrying about this mode that no one gives a shit about? I personally like the campaigns of Call of Duty. I'll be honest, I thought that Infinite Warfare, right, was actually had one of the best campaigns in modern FPS history. Not only was it a fun main story, it had side content that was original. Like, it was a really well done campaign that no one played. Last year, Call of Duty World War II had kind of a meh campaign. It wasn't great, but it wasn't bad. It was just kind of there. Black Ops 4 not having a campaign. I know some people it'll turn them off. For me, it doesn't really matter. For me, it's all about the value of the game. You know, when it comes out, if you have enough game modes, if you have enough content, then great. So let's see what happens when it comes out. I'm sure everyone's going to disagree. Some people are going to say that it has enough content, and some people are going to say it doesn't, you know. But I'll let you know what I think personally when it does release, okay? All right, Sias Vise, the 25-bit cheer, and says, the controversy with Battlefield 5 doesn't bother me at all. It's just a game. It doesn't have to be hyper-realistic. The same thing with Assassin's Creed a few years ago. I believe he's talking about Assassin's Creed Syndicate, where you had female people in the gangs of London, which didn't happen. It was historically inaccurate, right? He says, Black Ops 4 having no campaign is much worse, in my opinion, as they're just being lazy, and they seem to have gotten a pass. Well, Sias Vise, the reason they got a pass is because there is an installed gamer base who buy Call of Duty every year for competitive purposes. It's kind of like Street Fighter V. That game sucked ass, but it has an installed gamer base of people who want to see Street Fighter succeed and be part of the competitive Street Fighter community, and you got invested parties like Capcom and other companies who are all invested in competitive gaming who pushed that game down our fucking throats, and now here we are 2.5 years later, and people are saying, oh, it's good. Like, well, no, it's actually not. If you actually play the game at a competitive level, it's actually not good, but so many people have just said, oh, it's good, that they went out and bought it anyway. It's kind of the same thing with Call of Duty. We'll all collectively agree taking away the campaign is less value added. I played the beta. I think the beta was terrible. The graphics were choppy as shit. The game ran like crap in this beta, okay? The gameplay was gimmicky as shit. It was all about what class you picked and using your class abilities rather than actual gameplay of run and gun, which is what Call of Duty's supposed to be. If you're really good at running and shooting quickly, you win. Not, oh, well, I keep using this overpowered ability. I freeze the whole fucking team, and I do all this stupid shit. It's dumb. But that's what it seems like they're going for this year, is gimmicky shit. Again, they kind of went 2 steps forward and 20 steps back and reset the clock 3 years ago with Call of Duty Black Ops 3, which I didn't like. And apparently people are like, oh, back to the gimmicky shit, this is what we want. You know, the people who play Call of Duty on a competitive level aren't people who are actually into, like, old school RPGs, old school FPS. They're into this modern gimmick shit. And it sucks. It's kind of like Street Fighter. People into Street Fighter V aren't into old school skillful Street Fighter games. They're into the modern, stupid, dumbed down gimmick shit. It's the same situation with both franchises. But you're right. It seems like every year, without fail, it's Call of Duty that gets the pass. Call of Duty gets forgiven. Call of Duty is the game that people will buy anyway. I don't know. I don't understand that mindset. I certainly don't think that that's going to get anyone anywhere. When you criticize and when you act based on that criticism. Okay, Call of Duty this year doesn't have a campaign and they went backward. Let's not buy it this year. But people will buy it anyway, and then the game sells well, and they just keep doing the same shit every year. You see what I mean? Like, that's not going to teach the game developer that they made a mistake and they need to fix stuff. But people do it anyway. It's like they're addicted to the game series so fucking bad. They got to have it every fucking year. And how many people who play Call of Duty don't play other games? I don't know. Are they only Call of Duty heads? Like, every year, this is what I must play with my friends online. This is it. You know what I mean? I don't know. I don't know too much about the community, but you're right. It seems like Call of Duty does get the pass. And, oh, by the way, it should also be said that Call of Duty said some of the only ways to get all the content in the game is to buy the Season Pass. You have to buy the Season Pass to get the expansions, versus Battlefield 5 says there are no expansions. You get everything. It's like, wow. So you buy Battlefield 5, you get all the content. You buy Call of Duty, you only get launch content. And then you have to buy the Season Pass to get any other content in the future. Like, what? So, I don't know. But they still get the pass, and that's the game that apparently has most pre-orders. Yeah, everyone's ignoring Battlefield. Listen, I don't know, man. Let's see here. Ziggy Piggy cheered. He says, I mean, this is constructive criticism. You trashed Scarface pretty unfairly after rushing through it and not reading any information they gave game you. I don't know what playthrough you were watching, Ziggy Piggy. You obviously weren't watching mine, because if you actually watched the playthrough from 2016, I actually quite enjoyed Scarface all the way up until the end, when they force you to grind with drug distribution. And it wasn't that I didn't know what to do, it's that I hated it. I thought that it was terrible that you have to waste time at the end of the game to just repetitively do side mission, go pick up drugs, drive back to Miami with the drugs, drive around the town, hand out the drugs, buy the businesses, get another lead, do a side mission, go get the drugs, drive back to Miami, drive around the city, hand out the drugs, use the money to buy more businesses, again and again and again. It's like 10 hours of grind, and it's shit. It would be one thing if it was fun. It's not. It's just literally a time waster to extend the length of the fucking game. I actually had liked the plot and the cutscenes and everything up to then. And then when I played it the other day, it was terrible. Those last missions, the Sandman missions, are glitchy as fuck. There's all weird shit that happens. It's not full explained what is expected of you in some of these missions. They're too fucking long with no checkpoints. It's just terrible gameplay, you know? The game itself is great for about 75%, and then the last quarter of the game is some of the worst stuff I've ever experienced in gaming. So, I was not unfair. I said that outright. I even said, when I played it in 2016, that I can see how Scarface was a sandbox game that inspired many things in other future sandbox games. I even called them out as I was playing the game. I said, wow, here's something that I saw in Grand Theft Auto later on. Here's something that I saw in another game franchise later on. And you could tell they probably played this game and took that from it, and that should be recognized. That doesn't mean that I give the game a pass and I act like it's great when I'm hating what I'm doing in the game and I'm not having fun. It's not like I wasn't paying attention. I didn't know what to do. I knew what to do. What I was doing was terrible. It was just terrible gameplay. It was not fun. You know, and that's the situation I'm in the game now. It sucks. And I've got to try to finish it Tuesday night, and hopefully that's the end of it, so I can say, fuck this game, I'm never playing it again. It's just not fun. I got to do more fucking drug distribution on Tuesday. More? I've already done 10 hours of it. More drug distribution. Like, what the fuck is with this stupid game? Ziggy Piggy, what it sounds like to me is that you're just in love with this fucking game. You probably played it when it was new, and back then I'm sure it felt like a groundbreaking experience, whatever. Today has not aged well at all. The game is incredibly outdated for modern standards, has tons of bugs and issues, has terrible ending here. This ending hours of gameplay are garbage, and it's okay for you to like it, but it's not okay for you to dismiss other criticism of it just because you're in love with the game and it's some nostalgic feeling you have. Listen, there's plenty of games I have nostalgic feelings for, and people tell me they suck. And I'm like, well, that's your opinion, I guess, right? That doesn't mean that I now go out and I say that their opinion's invalid. DJ Runo cheered. He says, do you think Fallout 76 will be relevant since Fallout Miami was announced? I hope you've heard about it. No, I didn't. I guess there's a new Fallout game called Fallout Miami. I didn't even know that. Fallout 76 is not a mainstream Fallout game. If you're not aware, it's supposedly running on the same engine as Fallout 4, and the only difference is that it's a co-op game. It's a co-op Fallout game. That's the gimmick. They decided to do a cash-in co-op game, much like we got games like Destiny and The Division. Fallout said, we can do that. We can make a quick buck and slap together a co-op game in the Fallout universe, and that's what they're doing. Fallout 76 already wasn't like a major developed game in the universe of Fallout, right? It's not like Fallout and then Fallout New Vegas was. This is like a totally different thing that people know is meant as a cash-in for co-op gameplay. So I don't think that it's going to be a big deal in that regard. Like, people who want to play a co-op game will play Fallout 76. People who are hardcore fans of Fallout will play Fallout 76. Well, I don't see the game being an insanely good seller. I just don't. I think it'll be an alright seller. Like I said, probably for Bethesda, they probably didn't have to put much time and effort into it. They just took bits and pieces from Fallout 4 and slapped them together to make it work. You know? So for them, no skin off our back. We didn't even put much work into this, and now we're going to make a quick buck at the end of the year for fans of Fallout, right? And let's also face it, if you take a look at the end of this year, there's not many co-op games coming out. I mean, you got your Call of Duty, right? Which is zombie co-op, is always huge. And you're going to have your Destiny expansion that is going to probably come out. And I think it comes out either September. And that'll probably be big for like a few weeks. And no one will care about that after a couple months. So this will be, Fallout 76 will be the big co-op game to get and play during the holiday season. And it probably will make money just off of that. Even if the game's not good, you know, it probably will still make a ton of money. So, okay. Alright, let's see here. Nasif cheered 50 bits. He says, a Borderlands 1 remaster is rumored to be in the works. If released, would you consider playing through it again? Only if it was co-op. Because I remember playing Borderlands 1 when it was a new release. And it was the first time I'd ever played a game like that. A first-person shooter that was, I think they consider it a looter-shooter hybrid, where it's like looting but RPG elements, but it's mostly a first-person shooter. I'll be honest, that game was boring as fuck playing it solo. And it was tough. Because you could tell some of the bosses were meant to be fought as a team, one person distracting while the other person flanks. And I couldn't do that because I was playing it solo, which made the game way more hard than it needed to be. So if I get a team of people and we wanted to team up and do co-op in it to go through it, yeah, then I would consider playing it as a fun co-op thing with my viewers or fans. Would I do it solo? Fuck no. It would not be fun, in my opinion, okay? Tazariel cheered. He says, hope the day off was decent. It was. It was a decent day, but it was a day when Kat and I had a lot to do. We had a lot of things we needed to get done in one day. And so even though we had a lot of fun doing it, by the time that we were back home at night, I mean, literally we left the house around, I think, 10, 11 a.m. And we didn't get home until, oh, we did, okay, we went home at one point. We came home and did a few things at home quickly, but then we went right back out. And we didn't get home until almost like 10:30 p.m. So we were out for like 12 straight hours. Fucking tiring. I came home, my legs, my back was sore. I'm like, man, you're supposed to be my day off. And here I am running around. But that's what it is a lot of the times on our day off, is like we have so much to do and only one day a week to do it, that we kind of have to rush to crush stuff together and get it done. So, you know, it is what it is, I guess. But it was a good day. We did have a good day. So that's good. And thank you for the cheer. Thank you for the sentiment. Judicious Echo says, I don't know if your condo association allows it, but next summer a window unit air conditioner will be much more effective against the heat. I can't do it. My windows are not standard windows. We got these big bay-style sliding windows. You couldn't put a window unit in here. It wouldn't fit. That's number one. It wouldn't even fit in the window. But number two, yeah, they don't allow that. Basically, you have two options. You have one of these indoor air conditioners where you have the tube that goes to your window for the exhaust and the intake, or you got to get central air. When I first moved here, I looked into getting central air, and they said, well, I actually had a guy who's a heating company guy come in because he checked my heater to begin with to make sure that it was working and everything. And he said, well, I want to look at your ductwork. So he looked under the house at the ductwork. He says, so just so you know, they did all your ductwork wrong. And it's probably not just you. It's probably everyone here. It seems like when they built these homes, they did them completely wrong. He's like, even if you had central air installed in your house, it wouldn't work. Like, your upstairs would still be hot as hell during the summer because the cold air wouldn't even get up there. And he was like, well, they'd have to totally redo all your ducts in your house, then the central air unit. So probably you're talking 10 grand or more in order to get central air in your house. To which I was like, well, I'll never afford that. So I guess I'm never getting central air, right? Like, how am I ever going to fucking afford that? So I've just had this one air conditioner sitting here in my office that cools the office, and then when it gets really hot, I leave it on overnight and it cools the house, and that's what I've always had. And Kat was even saying earlier this summer, like, man, maybe we should get a second air conditioner for another room, and we can't even do it downstairs. There's no windows that open on our first floor. We can't even put an air conditioner into the first floor. We would have to put another one on the second floor somewhere, either her office or the bedroom, which is possible, but, you know, good indoor air conditioners cost about $400. Again, another thing I don't have that, you know, I just couldn't do it. I mean, we would have loved to have another one, but couldn't afford it. So, you know, it is what it is. I put up with it. But now that the summer's ending, thank God the summer is ending here. It looks like all cool temperatures moving forward, at least for the next week and a half from what's forecast. We're hoping that's the end of the heat waves. We've got clouds and rain outside, which is what we expect for Washington weather. And we're hoping that things are going to be nice moving forward. So, okay. All right, well, two quick things, guys, before we adjourn and we start with gameplay here of Dark Souls 3. The first thing is I'd like to do a special shout-out to all those who cheered this week. Today is the last chance if you want to cheer and get up on this week's cheering leaderboard, because it resets overnight, Sunday night, so tomorrow it should be completely reset. All right? So let's go ahead and do a shout-out to the top 10 cheerers of the week. Okay, number 10, hold on a second. In 10th place, we've got Chris S9181. Thank you, Chris. In a tie for 9th place, we've got DJ Runo1 and Infinite 55. In 7th place, we've got Creepy Spaghetti. Leading him by only 25 bits. In 6th place is Yusuke 14K. In 5th place, we've got Nasif. In 4th place, only beating him by 75 bits is Dr. Soundwave. In 3rd place, we've got Rink Dude. In 2nd place, RFHC5 beating Rink Dude by only 3 bits. Holy crap. And then, of course, in 1st place, with a measly 220,735 bits cheered this week, Tutankhamun. I can't believe no one tried to beat Tutankhamun this week. I don't know what's wrong with you guys. Come on. Yeah, right. It's pretty obvious, you know, like I said, that was a one-time thing. It was a pretty crazy thing. It's pretty awesome. I'm appreciative for it. But it will reset overnight, and so we'll have a new leaderboard next week. So all you guys who wanted to get up there and were completely destroyed by Tutankhamun this week, no worries. Tomorrow it resets and we start from scratch, okay? And by the way, DJ Runo just cheered 2 more times. First, he says, I remember Activision once stating that making a single-player Call of Duty was way more expensive than the multiplayer. There's absolutely no way that the $60 price tag is justified, and I guess Activision is looking for a way to fool the customer to spend more money for less. Of course. It's not fooling the customer. It's not, because everyone says, oh, we don't play the campaign. So they're just focusing on what people play, and if it means less development time, less money for them to make the game, then, you know, they're going to jump on that bandwagon. That's what everyone else has been doing. Look at all these cooperative games. They don't have robust stories and like, for example, look at a game like God of War this year. Amazing game, had a huge budget, of course, but an amazing game, blew everyone away. Amazing story, graphics, gameplay, everything. Compare that with The Division, you know? The Division, a game that's bare bones co-op, not a great game, story shit, no one really cares about the story, they only play the game to do co-op with their friends, right? Or a game like Destiny. I mean, take a look at those and tell me which game had more time, effort, and game development put into it, right? And that's kind of what Call of Duty is now. Well, we don't need that. We don't need to go the high budget, tons of effort campaigns and stories anymore. No one cares about them, so fuck it. Just put out the multiplayer and sell it for the same price. So DJ Runo actually got himself out of that tie for the cheers, and he actually went up a spot here. I believe DJ Runo actually for the week now is in 8th place. Yes, he's firmly in 8th place, so thank you, DJ Runo, for that cheering support, okay? And Ziggy Piggy cheers. Shout out to Joe Blow Splamoni. That's actually a meme based off of me. I can't believe it. An actual legit meme. Okay, alright, guys. That is it for the pre-stream. Thanks to everyone who cheered. Reminder, if you guys cheer or sub today and you're the top cheerer or subber, I'll get you up on the stream stats leaderboard at the top of the screen. No one has tipped so far. Another reminder, guys, the best way for you to help me right now would be to either pledge to my Patreon by the end of this month or to tip me. Those are the 2 ways that help the most. Those are going to go direct towards my bills coming up. I do need the support because I had no ad revenue for 3 weeks on YouTube, and it's going to be very tight in September because of this. So anything you guys can help with, you know, lend your support. I appreciate it, all right? All right, that is it. Let's end the pre-stream and get on with the show.